That's the problem. Yeah. It's very bright.
Luckily I had my coffee.
But then again, so late. Oh yeah, do you
I'm
want
glad this
water
is,
or anything?
I've got it, and I'm glad this is not 9 a.m.
Yes, exactly.
You would not have a different, you have a different person here.
All about Eve first? Is
Sure.
everybody good with that?
Does not matter.
It's just the first one I have listed, so I figured that'd be it.
All
Alright, if everybody is ready, a little run, once again, Ed Academy. I'm Darryl,
I'm Laura.
and for those of you watching, which is the majority of you, you'll notice we have another special guest today. Say hello, sir.
Oh, me?
Yeah!
Oh, I'm Scott. Hello.
Scott is a very old and dear friend of mine. That's not to say you're old. You are old by the
I'm
number of
old,
years that we have
yes.
known each other.
Old as dirt.
We all actually went to high school together and did plays together back in high school. So we've known each other for a very long time.
We actually met in junior high, so yeah, we were friends way back in junior high.
That's right, we were playing clarinet in the junior high band.
That we
That's
were.
right.
But today, we're not here to talk about any of that. Today, we are here to talk about the AFI list. And this one we're going to do is what, Laura?
It is all about Eve.
All About Eve. Alright, All About Eve, give you some of the background info. Written and directed by Joseph Mankiewicz, produced by Darryl F. Zanuck. It's based on the 1946 short story and subsequent 1949 radio drama, The Wisdom of Eve by Mary Orr. Stars Betty Davis, Ann Baxter, George Sanders, Celeste Holm, Gary Merrill, Hugh Marlowe, Thelma Ritta, Marilyn Monroe, Gregory Randolph, not that Marilyn Monroe, Barbara Bates, and Walter Hampden.
It is that
I
Marilyn.
know,
It is.
I know, I was going.
Oh, okay.
How dare you?
Nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress for both Baxter and Davis. Supporting for Sanders, Supporting Actors for Holm and Ritter. Best Screenplay, Best Art Direction for Black and White, because this is when they were doing both. Cinematography, Black and White. Costume Design, Black and White. Film Editing, Best Scoring of a Dramatic or Comedy Picture, and Best Sound Recording. It won a ton for Sound Recording, Costume Design, Best Screenplay. Sanders won his actor for supporting, and it did win for Best Motion Picture and Best Director for that year. Any interesting things?
So the summary is a seemingly timid but secretly ruthless ingenue insinuates herself into the lives of an aging Broadway star and her circle of theater friends.
That's accurate.
So I've got two, one for me, and I'm going to ask one from Scott. So the one for me is that this is the only movie that has had 4 nominations for female performers, for 2 in the actress role
Oh, okay.
and 2 in the supporting actress
The
role.
only one?
The only one that
Wow.
has had 4 female. Well, because it's very rare that there are 2 Best Actress nominees and then to have Best Supporting Actresses too, because
Yeah.
so few movies are about women.
This is true.
So-
And rightly so.
So the second part I'm going to ask Scott to answer is we asked him what movies he wanted to talk about.
Yes.
So I want to know, why did you choose this movie particularly?
It's just a lovely movie all around, and it's a classic. I love the theater, so any movie about the theater and something old-timey, I'm going to sign up for that. But the performances are stellar, and it's just so watchable. I've seen it like 8 times at this point, so I love it. And it is based on a short story, but it's based on a short true story.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes, so the writer of that story wrote this because she had this exact experience with some young ingenue moving her way in on her roles on Broadway in the 40s.
Ah.
This really happened, so this has got meat to it.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
I will start and I will start up by saying I thought I had seen this movie. I never actually had.
Oh,
I had heard things about it. I've heard both praise for it. I've also heard very big detractions for it. So I was a little nervous going in. I purposely did not try to figure out what it was about. I just went in cold. And I'm pleasantly surprised at how engaged I was with this movie. I really am. It always surprises me, particularly with older movies, when they really do pull me in and engage me all the way through, where you can't necessarily figure everything out. We've watched enough movies at this point that we understand certain tropes and things that people rely on. This one was early enough that while it did a little, it was not heavily relying on any sort of thing that you would known or seen before. So I was super surprised at how much I actually enjoyed this. I'm going to start there.
Yeah.
Right. I love this movie. I've watched this movie several times and enjoy it every time and find something new about it every single time,
Sure.
which is why I think I enjoy it so much. And for me, it comes down to the script and it comes down to the performances. And the fact, too, that so much is revealed over the course of the movie, you know, so like
Yep.
little bits and breadcrumbs are just even the George Sanders part is you don't know kind of how Machiavellian he is until almost near the end. He kind of appears as this almost foppish kind of character. And so it just, and Betty Davis and all of their relationships to Eve, you know, Thelma Ritter finds it out, you know, susses her out immediately. Betty Davis, it takes a little bit longer. Celeste Holmes still longer. The men are kind of, closed eyes to it for the longest. So it's just interesting to watch who figures her out and when. And I love that part of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just, there's so many quotable lines as
Yes.
well.
Very,
So
very
yeah,
much.
every time I watch it, when we rewatched it recently, I picked up on lines I didn't remember. So there's a lot. So it's a lot of fun.
It's also quite heavy, relying on the tradition of literature, particularly in a lot of those quotable lines, like for those about to die, we salute you. The lines that they use
That's
just
right.
offhanded, but are very big historical references throughout
Yes.
theater, that they, because they're in their theater, they would be very accustomed to, and they just kind of use them as throwaways. The biggest joy for me for this was watching to figure out whether or not the central character was as naive as she was. It became apparent that there was something up, but you're right, that information of how manipulative she actually was is very slow to be parsed out by everybody. And I think that's one of the big strengths of the film, is that it relies on that kind of tension and discovery
Yes.
to move the plot forward in a very good pacing.
Yep, I completely agree.
And Betty Davis classically is a very histrionic, larger than life persona.
She's subtle in this.
And you knew that in this movie she's playing like the complete diva. Like this is her terrain. It's getting she's being pushed out by someone younger, and it's a tragic ending for her. Is what it feels like you're headed towards. She's driving off of a cliff.
Yep.
But in the beginning of the movie, she completely becomes enraptured by this woman who is feeding her all of this good energy. And she's the one that says, "Let Eve stay in the dressing room."
Yep.
She demands it, so they all listen to her because they're afraid of her. So so Margot Channing it's her own undoing that she's trusting this woman.
Yep.
Very good point. And it does, I think something you both said, it was the quotes that they use and kind of the tropes as far as like the diva character. These seem like real theater people. They
yeah.
seem like this is the backstage at a theater. You've got the playwright and the playwright's wife. You've got also that interesting time in the world where people are going from Broadway to Hollywood. And you've
And
got
it's still
that tension.
questionable.
It is still, can you make the cut from there to there? One performance that I thought was just beautiful and brilliant was Marilyn Monroe. I thought she was savvy and cunning, but still sweet and cute, and it just makes me sad for where her trajectory was, because those supporting character roles that I've seen her in a couple, she is so brilliant, and I think she was great in this movie.
Yes, very underrated actress.
I agree,
For
yeah.
sure. One of the things that I think is another big strength of the film is the themes that it tackles, because it tackles a lot. Identity is a big one, like who am I versus other people. You have the big questions of art, like one of the central themes is who's responsible for capital A art? Is it the person who wrote the thing? Is it the person performing the thing? And they constantly battle with their own identities with these questions. One of my favorite lines in the entire thing is, "It's about time the piano realizes it has not written the concerto."
Yes.
I loved that, because it speaks to everything that this film is attempting to tackle in one simple line.
Yep, and ageism in the acting community and just like the way that you are perceived.
Yes, and famously, Betty Davis was 41 when she was cast, and she had gone through many years of doing B-movie flops after her heyday in the 20s and 30s. And so she felt like she was at death's door already on her career. And so when they took a chance with her and gave her this role, they were very trepidatious about hiring this diva to perform, and they were like, she's going to ruin this film. And she was on her best behavior because she was humbled by having done so many terrible movies. And she said that it resurrected her career.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Did this help
It
bring
did.
back?
It did.
This is maybe my favorite Betty Davis performance, and I like Betty Davis, so this is my favorite performance because she can be quite over the top, and because of her dialing it down, I like her a lot in this.
One of the other strengths I think of the movie is that each of the characters are so incredibly well defined through essentially conversation. There's not a lot of action here. I mean, people, there's movement and things, but it's primarily conversations that people have. But the individual conversations they have with the different people help define their own individual characters. So everybody is not, which we see sometimes in movies, they all speak in a similar voice or something. These people have very distinct voices, and it changes like it would normally in life, depending on who you're actually talking with.
Good
So
point.
the writing of this is incredible,
Yeah.
particularly for the time.
And the writer, Joseph Mankiewicz, wrote himself in the script.
Oh, did he?
He was the critic.
Ah, okay.
Interesting. I don't think I knew that. That's awesome. That's very, very cool. Can we talk about the end too? Because I
Sure.
love that last scene of the Phoebe, the girl who comes and becomes Eve for Eve,
Yep.
but also the mirror scene of just like all of the Eves that are out there just waiting for their spot, their time in the spotlight, and for every Margot there is an Eve, for every Eve there is a Phoebe, for every Phoebe there is somebody else.
Yep.
That's right.
And I did like that how that was kind of placed at the end to show that this is kind of a cycle that will continue. You'll have your moments and your moment will pass. It's how do you deal with that moment when it's actually going? Do you go out with grace and style? Do you fight and claw? Which way are you going to go?
Right, because I don't think it was an unhappy ending for Margot. I mean,
No.
she ends up with Bill. She is maybe not, again, her identity might change, that what she wants to be professionally may not be what she's able to maintain anymore. But she's, it's not an unhappy ending, but it's certainly not a happy ending. It's just a different ending than maybe what she expected.
And Ann Baxter gives an incredible performance. Like,
She does.
How does
Yes.
she manage to go toe to toe with Betty Davis in every scene like that, and have a completely different dynamic than Betty Davis? They cast her. They had a lot of women they looked at for that part of Eve, because obviously it was a big deal. They would need to find the right person who could go head to head with. Actually, it was going to be Claudette Colbert in the beginning.
Oh, wow.
Oh, she
Yeah.
would have been great in that, actually.
Yeah, she injured herself, so she couldn't do it. So 2 weeks later, they recast, and they'd already had Ann Baxter. So they were really lucky that they had chemistry together, she and Davis. They chose Ann Baxter of all the women. He said because the director had she had what the director called bitch virtuosity.
I like that.
Because all the other ingenues were just very ingenue or very bitchy. So she had kind of both of them together.
Yeah, she has that ability that a lot of actresses can't do, which is to switch on a dime, to go
Yes.
from the very demure, oh, I don't understand what you're talking about, to
Yeah.
suddenly being super manipulative
Yes.
and in control.
Meet me in the bathroom, please.
Yes.
I have something I wish to request of you again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She does have a little bit of a Gloria Swanson quality from Sunset Boulevard.
There you go.
There we go. In that it's like she is performing. Because Gloria Swanson in that movie is always performing.
Yeah.
Whether she's in her house talking to her butler, there's an audience out there. And I felt that same quality of Ann Baxter in this, in that Eve is always performing to an audience. You rarely see her her in real life, and like maybe only with George Sanders at the end.
Yeah, when she has her breakdown on the bed.
Yes.
That's the only time she's like really
Vulnerable.
truly herself.
That's
Exactly,
right, yes.
exactly.
And she campaigned to be nominated for Best Actress against Betty Davis.
Really?
They wanted to nominate her for supporting, and she pushed the Academy to nominate her for Best Actress. And then because they had two actress nominations for that same film, it split the vote, and the vote ended up going to Judy Holliday for Best Actress. And so Ann Baxter said in some setting where Betty Davis was there, something to the effect of that she regretted campaigning in this way, that she should have taken the nomination for Best Supporting, and Betty Davis said, "Yes, you should have."
Yes. I'm not surprised at that. That's a total Eve move, though, yeah?
Yes, it was. It's art imitating life.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm not as familiar with some of the older films as I think the two of you are, so I had never seen Anne in anything before, or if I had, I just didn't remember. I also did not know the male characters at all, or at least I didn't recognize them. I'm assuming that these were popular actors of the day.
I'll take the Gary Merrill. So Gary Merrill, who played Betty Davis's husband,
Yep.
was Betty Davis's husband.
Oh, okay.
And actually he
From that
was
movie forward.
Yeah, from that movie forward. And they lived in Cape Elizababeth together.
Oh,
So Cape
I did not
Elizabeth,
know that.
Maine, for those of you. So that said, I think he was wildly outclassed by Betty Davis. I don't think that he was I think he was known as Betty Davis's husband for his career, and I don't think he had the talent. But Anne Baxter had a very solid career.
She did. She played. Gosh, I only saw a couple of her movies before that, but she played historical figures like queens and princesses and regal roles.
Yeah.
She had that poise.
Do you guys remember the TV show Hotel in the 80s?
Yes.
It was Connie Sellecca. She owned the hotel. Like, that was her big Anne Baxter coming to television. And so she was quite a well-known actress, and it was a big move of a movie star coming to TV, because that was not done back then. So it was about at the same time like that Jane, ex-Mrs. Reagan, Jane Wyman came to Falcon Crest. Like, the older movie divas were coming to TV to be the matriarchs.
That's great.
Interesting. Yeah, so I was incredibly pleasantly surprised at how well crafted this is, and I continue to be every once in a while as I go through a lot of these older movies that I haven't seen, and that's my own bias that I bring to it. Like, just because back then it was a different time doesn't mean that the quality can't be exactly the same, or even in some cases better. So that's my own bias, and I should really start to get over that.
The smoking, though, did get to me. There's a lot of smoking in this movie.
It gets distracting
It does get distracting,
for a modern eye, but back then it was so normal that.
because that's the way life was
Yeah.
lived. It wasn't performative. It was just life.
Yeah. And I speaking of the smoking, I did like how they did different aspects, because people do smoke differently. I'm a smoker, I know you guys are not, but people do smoke slightly differently, and back then, the long cigarette holder was actually a status of power, and
Oh, sure.
so it was utilized that way throughout the film. I just enjoyed that.
Yeah. All right, so 3 sets of thumbs up for All About Eve.
Big thumbs up for me. Like, honestly, go see this if you have not. It is so worth your time. Unlike some of the others we might talk about later.
And it's the most nominated film in history, later tied by Titanic.
Oh.
Until
that's-
Sinners.
Until Sinners, sorry,
Yeah.
yes, which is 15?
Huh?
Was it 15 Sinners or 16?
I think it was 16 because there's a new category. So that's why they were saying that it shouldn't count, because there's a new category of best casting, but it still was 2 above, so it still counts.
Okay.
And I always wished that they did a gay version of this and call it All About Steve.
Sure.
Because
They could.
the old joke is we're doing All About Eve, not All About Steve, right? Or Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. I thought it would be funny to have that as a gay version of that movie. But the opportunity is ruined because Sandra Bullock and what's-his-face had to do a movie where she chases this straight guy all over the place, Bradley Cooper. She chases him to Hollywood on a film set and stalks him, and then they fall in love anyway at the end. It's not a gay romance at all. It's just a silly, floppy rom-com, and it was completely panned. 7% on Rotten Tomatoes. She won a Razzie for it.
Oh, nice.
So it's historically it's a known to be terrible movie. And I'm
I've
annoyed.
never heard of it.
Yeah, I was annoyed when I saw the title. I'm like, oh cool, they finally did this gay All About Eve theater drama. No, so now they can't do it. So
You never know. There's still time.
That is pretty clever, and I like that, because yes, you keep hearing that it's all about Eve, not all about Steve.
Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
Yeah. That's pretty clever, and they should absolutely do that. I would watch that.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
All right, so there you go. All About Eve. Did we figure out what number this one was? Did I say what number?
We did not say what number. It is on the AFI list, and you're going to make me look for it. And
Nope, I won't.
cannot
It'll
find
be
it
in the
unless you guys want to
description.
vamp until I find.
It'll be in the description where you do the liking and the commenting and all of that kind of stuff. So it'll be there. Probably even in the title, because I like to do that every once in a
And
while.
there you go. We can totally do that.
All right, see ya.
Bye.